the key essential thing that you need to have with you at all times is a good cup of coffee and tons of snacks.
There you go.
The future generations can get this urge, stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Welcome back to another episode of Nerds of the Rounds, guys. We have an awesome creative series for you today. I'm your host, Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
And today we have with us the awesome VT from Sketchbrew Animation. VT, what's up? How are you?
How's it going, guys?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Welcome
Glad
to
for
the
you.
show.
Yes.
Hanging in there. That sounds like 2021 in a nutshell.
It definitely is.
Sounds about right.
We're all just trying to survive, and we're all trying to work. I know you've got a lot of things happening, so you doing more than just surviving. You working.
Yeah,
for real.
That's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
So we want to hit you with our trademark question because we like to, for people who don't know who you are, anyone listeners out there or viewers out there, give us your origin story, your backstory. What got you into the world of animation? How did you embark on this journey?
Okay, so let's go all the way back to the late 90s, I believe. So it didn't really start with like paper and pencil. What got me into animation was like stop motion animation. My dad actually, he grew up on a lot of like stop motion animation. The biggest one, of course, is like Gumby, and that kind of like influenced me to do some stuff. So every summer I would go over to my grandparents' house, and my grandfather, he has this camera and this like card table, and I would take both of them. Get some clay. I would make a design, like a design, and I would start doing like stop motion animation. And it kind of stuck with me for quite a while because then it transferred into like computer animation, which led to like 3D animation and then to 2D animation. And
Okay.
yeah, here I am today doing 2D animation full time.
Awesome. Very dope. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing even like looking in your VTAnimation YouTube catalog, you go all the way back to like 9 years ago and seeing that, pretty much what you said, that transition from the 3D to the 2D, and then to the like we've got the really polished 2D that we're seeing that you're putting out now. And also that you're working, what it looks like you're working with a number of voice actors. So has that always been kind of the goal, the gist, or like did that all come together because you were doing animation and people just reached out to you to start creating their pieces?
To be honest, all of this just kind of fell in my lap. I didn't predict I would be here today doing this because I guess like when you hear a lot of YouTubers, they say like the basis of it is like I came from a dark place and then YouTube came along and now my life has changed, and it's kind of true because at the time like I had dropped out of college because of unfortunate circumstances, and it was about a year where I had taken off and I didn't do anything, like I didn't even draw because I was just in such a bad shape. But then friends and family had talked to me and they were like, whatever you do, you just have to do something. And at the time, I believe it must have been like 2012, Gamegrumps came along, and I started noticing that they were doing like animations on their channel. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just take a piece of their audio and I'll animate it myself. Did it, uploaded it, garnered a lot of views, and it just influenced me to keep doing more and more until it just kind of spiraled out of control, because then all of a sudden I'm getting offers from like other YouTubers to do animations for their channels. I even had connections with people from Netflix. So
awesome.
It's been a wild ride.
But yeah, you say your style is simple, but it's very expressive, and I think that's what attracts a lot of people to your style, because it's you really catch expressions very well, and it's not just in faces; it's in the body movements too. So, for those that don't know how much goes into an animation animating a character, the process and everything,
Mhm.
from storyboarding and all that. I mean, explain your process from when you start, from beginning to end, and how many people are you? Is it a team of one, or is it a team of many of you working together on a project?
So in terms of like for myself, it is a partner one, and I will say that the key essential thing that you need to have with you at all times is a good cup of coffee and tons of snacks.
There you go.
But like the process is, as I say, is storyboard, and then it moves into like line art, then coloring, touch up, and then finalization. Where you add the sound effects and stuff like that. And for me, that takes quite a bit of time because, like, again, like it's no joke. Like my attention span is very short, so it usually takes me about maybe 2 months.
Oh,
if
wow.
that. Yeah.
So you're doing, like Sebastian, you said, you're doing like character design, storyboarding, the editing, like getting everything together, and then also doing like the sound design and everything else afterwards for post.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
and
quite the undertaking.
And
Yeah.
looking at your other projects, so the monologimation. So are you also syncing the VA audio to the animation? Is that also part of that?
Yes. So
Jeez.
that's each and every
Dude.
episode.
And you're a one-man show? Woof.
Yeah.
Woof.
I've
Props
been
to
doing this
you.
for like 8 years. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So in the animation process, because I know some people have the part that they like and the part that they hate. What is your most favorite part about the animation process, and what is the part that you least like?
I hate color. I hate color.
You heard how quickly that question was answered?
I didn't even have to think about
no
it.
hesitation.
There is absolutely nothing I like about coloring. That's why monologimation is all blue. Because I just dealing with colors.
I feel like it's like all these animation like interviews that you see, like, why is the character design look like this? Because I didn't want to do all that work.
Yeah, basically. Animators won't say it, but it's just like, I don't feel like it. I'm cutting corners. Like, you don't care. It looks good. You're
like,
innocent.
there's got to be a really great artistic internal way about why you do it. No, I just didn't want to do it.
But we won't say that. We have to be professional. Oh, it just felt like a good right move for the character, and it's just people seem to have liked it.
Yeah.
The part I like the most is the line art.
Okay.
Where everything is uncolored and you get to see animation in its rawest form. And that's the part I like the most. And honestly, I wish I could do more animations like that. But I think that's my favorite part. It's because it's almost like seeing the progress of what you built from storyboard to the actual animation. So that's my favorite part.
And so you touched on monologue animation, how it's all blue. Could you tell us about how it started? Because I watched the compilation video and saw all the different, voice actors coming in. How did you get a hand of those stories? Were those kind of submission pieces? And then you decided to animate them based off the story of what you liked, and then you worked with the voice actor.
So that's monologue animation is pretty interesting because I think I just made a random tweet one afternoon, and
as one does.
Yeah, as one does. I expressed like, I want to work with more like voice actors because I know like quite a handful, and all of a sudden like a flood of voice actors started responding and say, I'll do this, I'll do that, and the conception of monologue animation was that voice actors will perform a piece however they want, and I'll animate around it. So
wow.
I sat down one night and I just wrote a bunch of monologues. I sent them all out. I was just like, have fun with it. And I believe in a week I had probably like 15 like voice acting reels.
Wow.
And that's when I realized I was in over my head.
Those random tweets will get you.
Different things I had to work with.
I'm just gonna tweet and hit send.
Just got to be insane. But I think this year was when I finally buckled down and I said, I can't leave this project hanging. So I chugged through. And I was able to crank out, I think, 8 episodes for a season. So
cool. And I think you said you're doing is there gonna be a season 2, or you're just sticking to the first season?
Yes, absolutely. There are more pieces of dialogue that I have in stock. I'm even thinking about asking more voice actors if they want to join. Which I probably shouldn't do because the first time was hard enough. But I think I want to keep going with the series because I really do think it has a lot of potential. Plus the fact I just like working with people all the time. So that's just something that I feel like needs to go on.
Is there any one particular video that you can go, this was the turning point, this was the transition video that like blew up and you were like, oh shit, now I'm really in this?
I think it was Lawrence's animations because all of a sudden, I like my channel at that time was like, it was low, like I didn't get a lot of views or anything like that. But all of a sudden I'm animating for her channel and I'm seeing numbers go from 0 to 100,000 in like a day,
Nice.
And
whoa,
suddenly
that is a huge jump.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I guess this is a thing now. So we're in.
Wow.
But then that started to happen to my channel too. Like I think there was one that just hit like 1 million views, and it takes you back for a second because it's just like, wow, like 1 million people collectively.
You got one over here looking at the serial. A Splatoon cartoon is at 2.8 million.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Well, you didn't even know that.
No, I didn't. I believe I talked to my friend Katrina about wanting to do like an animation company. Like all of us just come together, and we offer our services to people who really need it, especially during this time. So we got together, and the first thing that we did was this collaboration that took way too long to do. But we put it out.
What was the turnaround supposed to be?
So we were supposed to have this thing out by like a month, and it ended up taking maybe 5.
Oh
wow! Okay.
I won't get into specifics about
all good,
but
okay.
It took quite a while. But we get out there, and I didn't really think much after. I was just like, well, we did the thing, and our goal is set, and we'll see if we can get some people to hire us. And then all of a sudden, we get contacted by Gamegrumps to do an animation, and not just an animation, but then another animation, and then not just that animation, but another animation, and then invited back to do several more animations. So with all of that paired with trying to do our own original short, on top of doing several conventions, including yours, and not only that, but like talking to one of my friends about doing like selling coffee and stuff like that. Like we've taken off in a way that I didn't even expect. So all of this is pretty rapid. The whole Sketchbrew journey has been pretty rapid.
I love it.
Wow. And you said literally pandemic is just like pew from there.
Yeah, all of a sudden the pandemic was like it became like the driving force behind Sketchbrew.
I think Seabass said it on one of our shows that this is going to be like the renaissance for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Like
I think so. I really do, because it seems like in terms of like online content, animation has really, really taken off.
And we haven't seen the full extent of it yet. We've only, I believe, touched the tip of the iceberg because there's still people through the pandemic who are still developing stuff from what I'm finding out. So, but the fact that's again another amazing story to come out of the pandemic, just hammering down, and you guys doing what you did and doing the work that you're doing, all that. Again, I commend you. We have you on as fans of your stuff.
Right.
Of the style.
Appreciate it.
But
really
it's
appreciate it.
Again, and we thank you for coming on and all that. But again, this has been amazing, man. Thank you again for reaching out to us, Trey. Having a conversation, coming on the show. And again, if you guys have not heard of Sketchbrew or have seen Trey's animations, we're gonna have all the links in the description.
All those links.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate that so much.
What is something that people should be like keeping on their like, what's next for you?
In terms of animation or just like anything content wise,
general projects,
just look out for Jenna Harley. That's coming soon. Monologue Animation season 2 is coming soon. And with Sketchbrew, we have several projects that we're going to be working on and presenting. And you'll see us all over Gamegrumps too. So
nice.
It's actually really interesting too how you started this journey doing Gamegrumps videos, and now you're here again with Gamegrumps. But now they're, instead of you being a fan and taking it, they're reaching out to you to work with you.
Right. I thought about that too.
What was that like?
So let me tell you like a very interesting story. I still feel like a complete jackass, if I could say that, because of what happened.
Go for it.
So the friend I was talking about who keeps stats on like all the stuff that I do, he told me that Gamegrumps were looking for animators, and he sent me the links and everything like that. So I reached out to Aaron, I believe, at the time, and I was just like, here's some of my stuff. Consider me. Talk to you later, whatever. And he got back to me. He said like, "Oh, dude, I've been trying to get in touch with you. Like, I love your expressions." And like in my head, I was just like, "Okay, this is just a formality thing. Whatever, whatever." But I did the animation. Turned out very well. And it's still today. I think it's called like Teletorture or something like that. But here's the funny thing. So I don't go on Reddit a lot. But one day I decided that I was just gonna hop on Reddit for whatever random reason. And I noticed that I have several messages. So I go in there and I see one that responds to like some comment I made months back. I see one that gives me some notification about Reddit. And then there's one from Aaron Hansen. And it said something to the gist of, "Hey, man, I was trying to get in touch with you. I wanted you to do some animations for Gamegrumps.
Wow.
I love your expressions." And I could feel my soul leaving my body that day.
Yo, they literally reached out everywhere. They're trying to find you.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I just felt terrible. I was just like, I even wrote that. I was like, "Aaron, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it." It was just, I feel like a jerk.
Have you told them this story? Like,
no, I wish I could tell Aaron.
They're gonna find this interview.
They would find that shit hilarious. I don't know, man. Like, I think we all kind of grew up.
I was gonna write this in my memoir one day.
With their stuff. So.
How I embarrassed myself in front of Aaron Hansen.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's dope. Because we all grew up with that stuff, man. All that Ego Raptor stuff is ingrained in my memory. Just there, and I always go back to it. It's crazy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think we had a night that we deep dived that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, we definitely did. Because 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
The Newgrounds days, like 100%.
Yeah.
Newgrounds days were the best.
Yeah.
They were the best.